Okay, this is Mark Warner and David Scott.
Well, we've detected something that our spacecraft didn't.
The level of oxygen are not for human beings.
Yeah, and we need to make a report about the reproduction of the species we have on board.
The bacteria has access to a reproduction by bipartition every 20 minutes, in which a single organism splits up and forms two equal bacteria.
Well, earthworms mate on the surface. Although they are hermaphrodites, they do not fertilize themselves. After mating, each worm forms a small cocoon in the form of a lemon, with a liquid that segregates the clitellum. The sperm and oocytes are deposited inside the cocoon, which is then buried. A newborn worm emerges to the surface after a gestation period of 2 to 4 weeks.
Snails are hermaphrodites, producing both sperm and eggs. They must be governed because they cannot self-fertilize. For this reason, they must look for an individual of the same species in order to copulate. They are equipped with a male reproductive organ and its corresponding one.
Reproduction of the vertebrate can be asexual or sexual. Its asexual way consists in fragmentation, where a part of the sponge separates and then grows a new sponge. Once the parent sponge perishes due to the low temperatures, they release spores, germinating once the conditions are favorable. Sexual reproduction is more common. Porphyrins are hermaphrodites, and once fertilized, the eggs become a larvae. They remain in this state for a few days until they are secured to some firm place to become sponges. This is also called metamorphosis.
When a queen bee is born, emits a sound that invites other bees to fight with a pheromone perfume that will attract workers and drones to a nuptial flight. With its fertilization in this flight, male bees or drones, whose only purpose in life is to fertilize the queen bee, come and mate with her. The drones only live for a few days. The queen bee stores inside the body the spermatocytes of the drones and will push them to lay eggs inside the honeycomb. Fertilized eggs become the workhorse of the honeycomb, that is to say, worker bees, and the unfertilized ones become drones. Queen bees lay up to 200 eggs daily.
1,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Neurospora crassa has a mode of sexual reproduction called sporulation, which consists in formating one or more spores and then releasing them.
The sexual reproduction of the plant is the one in which the flowers intervene. Flowers are the reproduction organs of plants. The first step in production is pollination. Pollination is the transport of the pollen grain from the stamens on the gymnasium. There are two types of pollination. By insect is a foreign pollen from one flower to another to attract insect. While pollination, the white drops pollen going from one flower to another, it is given small flowers and little shock. After pollination, important changes occur in the gynoecium of the flower. The eggs are transformed into the seeds and the rest of the gynoecium into the fruit. Yeah. The fruit contains the seeds inside and protects them. The seed contains in the interior an embryo and the nutrition substance to facilitate its growth. Así, ahora está.
In the sexual reproduction of animals, we can find two types of fertilization. External fertilization, that is the type of fertilization where the union of spermatozoids and the female gamete takes place outside the body of the parents. And then we have internal fertilization, that is usually performed through copulation. And the sperm of the man is deposited directly into the reproductive tract of the female. Since we've detected something, we made a plan for pollination, and for this plan we need different stuff. For example, we need plants, different types of plants like earth plants, water plants, and all that stuff. We also need animals and insects for pollination, so I think we will use bees, butterflies, and other flying insects.
If everything goes according to this plan, within months we will have planted all algae and plants.
As you can see in this scene, we're planting algae, which are the top producers of oxygen, separating the water molecule into a hydrogen and oxygen.
Well, we're finished. We've done everything we could to save the atmosphere and make it a place for humans. Now it will start a process of hibernation, and we will wake up far, I think 100 years later, and then we will see if all the work we've done is for something, or it's been useless.
The hibernation process has finished. We have woke up 3 hours ago and we haven't left the ship yet.
We have to see this new world as a new opportunity to live in peace.